I hope you are all amazing. Come on in. Tonight, I'm excited to get with you as always. So today, I want to have this awesome conversation about when good mindsets go wrong. It occurs to me like when good mindsets go wrong, and it isn't really when good mindsets go bad. It's when they kind of take a turn when they don't need to. So sometimes we set off on this adventure, and this adventure of manifesting, and we set off on this adventure of personal development and personal transformation and coming home to our most powerful selves, doing our work, and we find ourselves getting kind of hung up, and sometimes a really good mindset. And I think I found myself there one too many times as well, but a really good mindset can somehow get wonky on us and can have us thinking that we're doing amazing work, and really it's running in stealth mode, doing the opposite of what we want. For those of you that are new to me, I'm Lori. I am the coach and I am the founder of the Manifestation 100. We started this group, I don't know, I think coming up on maybe like 8 or 9 years ago. It was back in 2014 where I literally was sitting out at my mother's and I was saying, what is next for my business? What is next? And I knew that I had a mission to not only help people transform themselves, but to teach people how to manifest their realities. And I was like, the Manifestation 100 flooded to me, as do most of my my programmings and my teachings and my workshops. And so the Manifestation 100 was born, and we're all here today, and so many amazing things have happened because of this particular amazing, beautiful community, and I'm so grateful for all of you. But the Manifestation 100 was born, and we have been here manifesting and doing transformation work ever since. So I, have set out on a mission really to help teach you, and we've been doing Monday night live streams, which is going to morph a little bit in the near future, but we've been doing Monday night live streams for a little while, and really helping you to open some gateways to, more transformation, more change, because I really do believe on every single level that if you want to create miraculous results in your life, that you have to start with like your inner journey, you start with your mindset, you start with your energy, you start with your emotion, you start with your spiritual journey, because that's where, truly, 97% of the work happens. The other part is the 3%, it's the action journey. And while I'm an action girl and I love to be in motion and be in that aligned kind of hustle, the work really is an energy, it really is an inside energy job. It really is an inside how you hold yourself, the worth that you stand in, your transformation leads this results-based work on every single level. So, hello Melissa, butterfly, beautiful. So I'm excited about tonight. Tonight I feel like I just want to be like, hey you guys, I got something for you. I want you to be aware, and I want you to be awake, because it's also my belief, it's in the awakening, it's in the awareness that we have our awakening. So I'm hoping that tonight I give you some things to think about that you'll go, especially if you feel like you have some sticking points, especially if you feel like, I wish I was having some results faster. I wish I was, not feeling so stuck. So stuck is the place that when I talk to my clients, they're like, it's just this like feeling, I feel like I can't go forward, or I feel like things aren't happening very fast. And if you're like me, I really like it when I have a ton of synchronicities and things are unfolding just amazingly, and I feel like I'm expanding like through so much joy and I have so much bliss. But sometimes life, kind of offers us challenges, and so we work with those challenges and we get clear on what we need to do, and we embrace what? We embrace the work, and we embrace some mindsets, and we embrace some ways of being, and we embrace some ways of thinking, and we embrace some ways of operating. Like I oftentimes have said to you guys, hey, you just have to create a new personal operating system. You don't have to like rewire everything that's ever been wired in your mind and in your energy for your whole existence. You just have to like upgrade your system, and sometimes those bugs work themselves out. So we set out on this this beautiful adventure to make life better, to manifest a better reality, to say, you know what, I'm finally going to show up for myself in a way that I've never had before. It is my time. The time is now, and I'm going for this. And then we start doing the work, right? We start leaning into self-love, and we start activating and creating more synchronicity, and we start, leaning into teachings that help us be more one with the universe, as I like to say. We start going quantum, right? We start activating more quantum principles, more quantum perspectives. And sometimes we find ourselves having fast and furious and beautiful movement, especially in the beginning. We're like, holy smokes, floodgates are happening and it's so awesome. And other times it's like, whoa, I'm still feeling stuck. What's going on? So I want us to have some awareness, and I can tell you for sure that I'm going to bring you these two things tonight that we're going to talk about. But I also want you to know that there are more things that can look very similar. So for every time you have a belief or you have a thought or you have something come up, there can be something that is, a cousin to that thought that might be very similar. So pay attention as I talk about these things, because it might be expressed in you differently, but these are some common things that I see all the time. So enough of the tee up. I'm Lori, for those of you that are new to me. And like I said, I started the M100 a long time ago, and the many sister programs that are offered through our work. It's in the academy and other things. I have Goddess and Calibrate and all kinds of beautiful programmings that you can step into to help manifest and create not only your best life, but yourself. And so, when we, like I said, step into this work, oftentimes it's like, wow, can you give me like some kind of tool? Can you give me some tools? And oftentimes I have you step into things like deep self-love, like I was saying, or 100% responsibility model, right? If you're in the academy or you've done my 100-day journey, or you probably heard some of this language. But one of the things that I hear, and this is such a good mindset because I use it with myself. We say, I'm stepping in, I'm going to show up. And we say, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And so we find ourselves like coming with all of this amazing, determined, decision, pointed energy. And it's so good because what's it rooted in? Raise your hand if you're in this place where you're like, you know what? I am just not going to take this lying down anymore. Like if it's to be, it's up to me. And we find ourselves kind of rising. And that's actually what I like about that, is that, it's rooted in this 100% responsibility model. It has some energy behind it that feels supportive. It feels like belief in myself. It feels like what I call like the goddess rising language. Like I have got this, And so I want to like show you like how good that is. Like I'm one who says, I'm going to pull up my spiritual bootstraps. How would you like to change your life today, Goddess? What would you like to lay on the field of consciousness today? If it's to be, it's up to me. And so there's some like power in that. Can you feel that? It's like, wow. And I can feel myself, like as I even talk about it, I can feel the rise of that. You see? So, but here's the glitch, because I bring goddess rise language to almost everything, right? I am super good at like, time to pull up your spiritual bootstraps, sister. We're not doing it any, this scarcity consciousness needs to be left behind. You know, like we need to wake up and smell the spiritual truth here. This is not actually how it is. This is my reality, but this isn't my truth with a capital T. So I have this kind of like, wake up, beautiful goddess creator. I'm going to support myself on this journey. However, here's when it goes wrong. Here's when it goes wrong. And this is what I see in some of my clients is that we say, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And all of a sudden, I see that goddess rise language start to be turned into like what feels like a self-depreciation. Like if it's like, it feels like this. If it's to be, it is up to me and I better get going. If it's to be, it's up to me and, you know, I better do it this time. If it's to be, it's up to me. And here I am not doing it again. If it's to be, it's up to me. I better get going. I haven't done it yet, right? If it's to be, it's up to me. And what's taking so long? If it's to be, it's up to me. And the universe really is like, am I even supposed to be doing this? So, you know, I want you to see how you can go into a mindset that can be really amazing. And it can turn on you where you're like, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I got to take a ton of action and I've got to bang my head against the wall and throw spaghetti against the wall and burn myself out. And I see this where all of a sudden, you know, the women that I'm working with, they're like, I'm burning myself out. So if it's to be, goddess rise is turning into, if it's to be, it's up to me. I'm burned out and I'm finding myself in a puddle on the floor. And so I want us to be careful because those good mindsets, depending on the spin and how you're holding yourself and the work that you're doing with yourself and not being sensitive to the big energy that is not only being carried there, but that you have to be able to hold for yourself. I mean, it's enormous. So if it's to be, it's up to me can suddenly look like I just stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning writing my sales page. And by the way, I've been there. I've been in that place where I literally, the true story, and it probably was, let me say, it probably was, the M100 was up. I was doing this group and I was launching something and it was a new program of some kind, but an earlier program. And I launched the whole program out and realized I didn't have a sales page. And I was like, how is it that I launch an entire program out and it opens tomorrow and I have no sales page? Like no sales page. Nowhere for people to join, nowhere that gave people information beyond what they've heard me talk about. Nothing except, right, my live stream or whatever I was doing at the time. But I was like, oh my God, I have no sales page. And so, of course, I mean, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I stayed up till whatever, 3 a.m. creating a sales page. And I think I woke up then again at 6 to try to figure out that sales page, which was filled with typos and which had totally spun me out and I was in tears. And if it's to be, it's up to me, it turned into like this really bad cycle of self-depreciation because guess what? I didn't do it right and it was not perfect and how could I forget? And there's some level of like, I'm gonna pull my spiritual bootstraps up and I'm gonna pull this off anyway, kind of pride in that. But really at the end of the day, I was burnt out, I was irritated, I was frustrated, I was sad, and I could have just as easily said, guys, I didn't do a sales page. I was so excited I forgot my sales page. So guess what? We have to wait till Saturday. And so, you know, that's just like one story, but I see that over and over again that like, you know, there's a belief that you have that can be really empowering for you. And all of a sudden it gets turned, and those beliefs that are supposed to be really empowering can turn into ways that we might be beating ourselves up. So this, if it's to be, this goddess rise language is amazing if you can hold that. And if you find yourself pushing beyond the container of yourself that you've developed, you have to pull back and pace and say, whoa, what do I need to develop in myself so that I can hold the level of expansion that's calling me forth? It's huge. It's huge. And so I can go to, if it's to be, it's up to me, it's time to rise, goddess. You know, like there's bigger things, there's big things happening on the scene right now for you. And it's time for you to show up powerfully, imperfectly, beautifully. But if it triggers for you a cycle of self-depreciation, if it triggers this on-off cycle of manifesting where it's on, push, flat line. I did that for a long time. I'd be like, yeah, I can launch, or I can go create something amazing in my business, and then I'm flatlined for 2 months because I'm so spent. So I want you to think about some of the, when you have a belief that's so empowering and so good, if you find yourself getting beat up by that, that means the container of you has not expanded to the point that your energy is calling yourself forth. So if it's to be, it's up to me. I'm all about it. It's a good space to hold. It's beautiful. It's goddess rising language. And it also says to me, it's me showing up for me. It's me meeting the universe halfway. It's me saying, wow, I'm going to partner with the universe. There's so many things that I could say about this. But what I want you to pay attention to is if you've got a good belief, an empowering belief, but it's not fitting the container needs to expand. The belief is going to be there waiting for you, but you have to expand yourself so that you can be a vibrational match to it, so you can be called forth. Does that make sense? So what does it look like? Well, like I said, you might feel beat up, and you might feel frustrated, and you might feel like I'm not doing enough, and you might feel like I'm on fire, but I can't, but I'm stuck, and I'm on, off, and it feels like a cycle. I want to make sure that I spoke that right. So it's good. It's so good. But I want you to be tuned into you. That's really what this work is. It's like this conscious, absolute tuning in. Because if it's to be, it's up to me. It's so aligning. It's so wonderful. Until it's not. And then you say, am I aligned with that? And it doesn't mean drop that. It means, how can I be up to speed with that? And if it's to be, it's up to me. It's like how I would get up to speed with that. I'd be like, the universe absolutely has my back, right? And I can't be in the self-depreciation of thinking that if I don't launch this on Friday or whatever day it was, and it goes till Saturday, my life and my business can handle a downshift or a left turn. And if it's to be, it's up to me. I will make this work for the highest good of myself and all, because I don't really think that I was probably the highest good of myself or all at that point. So if you find yourself having something like that happen, be awake and aware and readjust. Work on yourself. It's the container of you that needs to shift, not necessarily the belief. We have to get up to speed sometimes with these belief systems, and the prescription is always my transformation. The prescription is always becoming the butterfly that I am, The prescription is always coming back home to self. The prescription is always standing in my goddess self. But it does not mean beating myself up or self-criticism or dragging myself through the mud to meet the goal. That's not what it's about. Attraction and manifestation and these quantum events that happen where you're all of a sudden like, oh my God, I just collapsed the timeline. I can't believe that happened. Those don't happen in if it's to be, it's up to me kind of resistance. If it's to be, it's up to me when it's coming from this place, right? When it's coming from my strength, my worth, my expansion, my excitement, my willingness, my power, my hopefulness, my tuning into my unravelingness, then your vibration is golden. Then you're fitting the quantum perspective and you're tapped into how your highest self feels about you, not how your ego is struggling to hold the container, to be the container for that kind of expansion. So anyway, let me know if that helps. I want you to examine that and be with that in a way that as you just simply ask yourself, like with curiosity, holy smokes, do I have beliefs like that? Do I have good beliefs that maybe have gone wrong? Where might that be? So the next one that I want to share with you, there's this beautiful, beautiful belief in our spiritual world, in our sacred circles, and it sounds like this: I just need to sit back and let the universe work her magic. And yes, right? I will talk about that all day long, because when we look at like the work of personal transformation, when we look at the work of like opening ourselves to receive, right, our good, when we look at getting out of our own way, when we look at reducing the noise and letting go of the friction and finding that place of alignment where we're like, holy smokes, I am so aligned right now. That very much is. I am going to allow the universe to do the heavy lifting. I love to say it's time to let the universe do the heavy lifting, because if it's to be, it's up to me, it has a bit of heavy lifting to it. But when you have the universe also partnering with you powerfully too, and dancing with you as you create this magical unfolding, wow, it is so amazing. So what could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong with this amazing belief system, this come from that says, I am going to let the universe work her magic? Can you imagine what the sabotage might be in that? And this is where it sneaks up. So I'm going to let the universe work her magic, right? Can also look like I'm going to step back because I'm terrified. I'm going to step back because I'm so uncomfortable. I'm going to step back because I don't think I'm worthy. I'm going to step back because I don't want to be seen. I'm going to step back because this is moving too fast. I'm going to step back, and let the universe just deliver what I want on a silver platter. So oftentimes, this really amazing, beautiful concept, this philosophy of letting the universe have your back and show up and bring you this miraculous unfolding also is stealth mode, comfort zone. It's AKA, I'm not going to do anything and I'm not going to do my alignment work, but I'm going to sit and say, I'm just going to let the universe bring it to me. But I'm not in my alignment, and I'm not taking any inspired action, and I'm not doing what I need to do with myself, but I'm hiding out in, I'm just going to let the universe bring it to me, when the truth of the matter is we're terrified. When the truth of the matter is it's totally scary to step up and do our work. It's totally scary for the ego. It's so scary for the ego to look and say, holy smokes, if we change here, we're going to lose control. And so the universe, the ego's like this, the mind is like this. Well, if you just wait for the universe to bring it, which I don't think it ever will come, we're going to stay really safe in our comfort zone. And I never, ever, ever have to worry about that thing that I want. Let's say you want to write a book. And it's just so interesting because you can sit back and let the universe like show up for you all day long. But if you don't get your fingers on the typewriter, it's not happening. So there are things like that. So I'm going to let the universe bring it to me, and I'm going to relax into it is beautiful if you're meeting the universe 100% of the way. The universe shows up for you 100% when you're showing up for you 100%, there's some magic that starts happening like I've never seen it, right? But I'm going to let the universe conspire in my favor, and the universe is conspiring in my favor. But if you aren't conspiring in your favor, and letting the universe conspire in your favor is a disguised comfort zone, a disguised cave that you can crawl into and not do anything except be in the waiting game, or except be in be in hide mode. Oh gosh, I don't want to say that, but it's like there's a part of me that's like, I need to, because we as human beings are wired for comfort. We are wired for comfort, and it feels so good because the universe is conspiring for us and we're just gonna wait. However, and I teach that all day long about unhooking and aligning and, all the ways that we have to learn to trust. But it's layered, and it is about trusting the universe. It is about being one with the field. It is about trusting ourselves. But it isn't about this waiting game, and it certainly isn't about using that really good belief system to hang out in a comfort zone that doesn't serve you. So if you find yourself having this comfort zone in disguise, right? And what does that look like? It can look like, well, I'm just gonna wait for divine timing. Do I believe in divine timing? Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. Do I believe in the unfolding? Absolutely, 100%. But unless we're up to speed in the container of who we are, right, can expand to meet what that means, because divine timing and the unfolding of that isn't about patience, right? It's about being in the artwork of manifestation in your life with the energy, with the frequency, with your guidance, with the universe. It is not a stagnant place, and it is very moving and very flowing. There's no part of manifestation that need be stagnant. But if you go into waiting for the universe to deliver it, it's just gone stagnant, and you've just activated your comfort zone, and the ego's like, oh, I'll just lick a lollipop while I'm over here in my comfort zone, and I don't have to do anything, but I can feel really good about working, apparently, this principle. So I just want to caution you, what would it look like for you to ask yourself just this simple question? Am I waiting for the universe to do its magic, and am I not engaged? Am I showing up for me? Am I expecting the universe to deliver it and I'm not on board? Is this my personal comfort zone? Am I not writing that book and I'm saying the universe isn't bringing it to me, and book, whatever, right? Is that my personal comfort zone? So you have to be careful with some of these beautiful principles, because they can all of a sudden go wrong for you. And those are ones that I see often. And I see them in myself, you guys. It's I've seen them in myself. So I'll be like, wow, there are some things my business is like a personal transformation container in a box or whatever. It's a container for personal transformation, and always has been. I've always had I will manifest in my business, I manifest in my life, and I manifest all over the place. But when I manifest in my business, it's so expansive, and it just is so delicious for me. But I have found myself literally needing to say, girl, don't hide behind the universal principle. Divine timing, yeah. How about aligned timing? And I talk about that in the academy. There is divine timing, but what about aligned time? That's meaning get aligned and you'll collapse the timeline. Don't wait for the universe. What are you doing? And so I have gone, in all transparency, years of knowing that I should be doing something, and I can be like, well, the universe hasn't lined up the specifics for me yet, so I guess I don't have to be like, doing it. And I mean, come on. And I know that I need to pour some attention into something and find my alignment. And it's just so interesting because the universe seems to clip at a very fast pace when I do. So I get lined up and I get up to speed with myself, and it's just miraculous how the universe's timing starts changing and the waiting game becomes a quantum leap. And I didn't need to wait for the universe. I needed to align with myself. So in all transparency, I have to look and say, okay, you hid behind creating that brochure for that website for the last 4 years. How long are you going to create that brochure? Or how long are you going to create that website? Or how long are you going to wait to declare that you're in business? Like, what's that really going to look like? The universe isn't going to deliver me, right, some of this very action-oriented, line me up with the action things. It's going to whisper in my ear and it's going to say, call that person. They're going to be amazing web designer. And I'm going to go, oh, I have to pick up the phone for that. Okay, I have to find my alignment and step into a broader purpose. I don't feel like I can. What's under that? I'm not feeling worthy, or I don't feel like I know enough, or I don't feel like good enough, or who am I to shine that brightly? So I want you to look at like your spiritual belief system and decide, am I hiding behind any of these beliefs? Because here in our, manifesting world, right? We're operating from a different philosophy that most of the time will have you rocking out life in a different way. But if your come from starts looking differently, like you need to look back, you need to be like, I'm going to be honest with myself. I need to be honest with myself. Like, how am I camping out in my comfort zone still? How am I holding myself back? What am I unwilling to create alignment with? Or what am I unwilling to heal? Or what am I unwilling to, what was the word? Did I say heal? What am I unwilling to heal? What am I unwilling to create alignment with? There was one more. Yeah, okay. We have to look at that and say, I need to be honest with me, because this isn't about the universe. This is about myself. Because when I move, the universe moves every single time. And I need to do my inner work. I need to work on the container. I need to work on this piece of energy called myself that interacts with the beautiful universe, this beautiful field of consciousness every day. And when I get up to speed and I don't hide behind things like, let me wait for 4 years to let the unfolding happen, when I do my work to step up into my power, it is so miraculous how things seem to jostle loose. It's so interesting how things start, unfolding. It's so interesting how the universe starts sending you synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity, one right after another. And you're like, how did this happen? Wow, it must be the universe. And I'm like, yeah, also it must be you. Like when you shift, life shifts. So while I love universal law and I love the come-froms have to be, how do I say this? The come-froms are thought, and they are experienced, and they are embodied, and they are filtered by yourself. And so if your come-from is spun out in just a way, it can make that beautiful universal law kind of tip on its side. And suddenly we've got that sideways hamster wheel going on in our life again. We're like, I can't get off this. I'm like, well, that's because you have to get off this. The universe is beautiful and it's there and it's perfect and it will deliver you quantum-like divine events if you're tuning up yourself. So with that said, I hope that helps, you know. We do this in other ways. I mean, I didn't even scratch the surface. You know, I'm talking to you guys all day long about self-love, for example, and I'm always saying, in the name of self-love, you have to do what's, you know, in the highest alignment of yourself. But I could say, well, in the name of self-love, I'm not going to work on that website for 4 years because I don't think XYZ, right? I think I'm being whatever. But we can hide behind the concept to create a comfort zone. And I want to make sure that we're on point with that. So be curious. Ask yourself beautifully, am I in my comfort zone? You know, am I allowing the universe to conspire in my favor, right? Or am I using this really good belief in a way that doesn't serve me? But here on the outside, it looks like it is, but on the inside, it's really creating this huge comfort zone and a whole bunch of reasons why I'm not creating what I want to create just yet. So today was a little bit of a deep dive on like really two thoughts, you know, but I want to ask you and invite you to be honest with those, right? So that you don't have to be stuck, and so that you don't have to have your comfort zone accidentally dictate, you know, your life, your reality, what you're creating, because those are good thoughts. Those are good beliefs, you know. Goddess rising language. It's beautiful, allowing, you know, trusting conversations that you can have, unless they're not. And unless they're wrapped in self-depreciation accidentally, and unless they're wrapped in your comfort zone accidentally. And the thing is, we're humans, so that kind of thing can happen. Just like have so much awareness about it. Just be tuned in. What am I thinking right now? So, and what do I need? You know, what am I thinking right now? And actually, what do I need based on where I want to go? Because we make up all kinds of stories about what we think we need, but when we really get clear on like what we really need, things start to change, because we start to be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so tuned into actually what I want, actually what I need, actually what it means to really truly rise, you know, to really, really be in this, if it's to be, it's up to me. What do I really need? And if the universe is conspiring in my favor, right, I can sit back and let the universe conspire in my favor, but what do I need? And that might be, I need to get up to speed with what quantum thinking really, really is, so that I can expand the container that I am and have those beliefs really, really serve me in a powerful way. So let me know, is this helpful? And if you have questions, I would love to hear what your questions are, but let me know if this was helpful. And maybe if you do this, if you see this, let me know what came up for you. Let me know what you're nudged. Let me know if you kind of feel like, oh gosh, I feel more awake. You know, is that helpful? Good. I see some hearts flying. Yes. Good. So let's create some clarity. So if you don't have clarity and you want some, I am offering a free 15-minute clarity session for those of you that know that a conversation with me is your next step. You know that you want to put like this magnifying glass on your life, on your business, on maybe your challenges and your sticking points. If you want to have a very pointed conversation, a couple of weeks ago I was talking about, you know, are you operating from the laws of condition? Or are you operating from the laws of creation? You know, like this is a dance. Tonight we talked about this little dance between the laws of condition and the laws of creation, right? There's this dance that happens. But if you are interested in having a 15-minute glorious pointed session, I will help you assess fast and furiously where you're at, what's going on in your energy, what's going on in your belief system, what you need to do to create clarity, so that you don't have some of these things like tripping you up, and keeping you, tripping you up and keeping you stuck, because that's what happens. It's like we all of a sudden have this, what do I want to say? Opposing energy running underneath, and we cannot see it sometimes unless somebody says, I got a little mirror here, and I want to hold it up for you. And then I want to take a magnifying glass and zero in so you can see it too. And so that's what my clarity sessions are doing for people right now. If you want to have this, it's pointed, it's fast, it's pointed and fast. I can see it really quickly. And I will also ask you some very pointed questions about your life or the place that you are feeling like you want clarity. So you're going to get some clarifying questions, but some very clarified, intuitive, intuitive hunches from me as I kind of assess what's going on for you. And then I can give you a jumping off point so that you can, so that you can make the shift in a quicker way. So it's #clarity. If you have not had the chance to chat with me yet, give me a #clarity. If you want some clarity in your life, I'd be happy to connect and talk about that. So just so you guys know, this is not an enrollment conversation. Like I'm doing these for a little while. I don't know how long we'll do them, but this is not an enrollment conversation. But it's just literally like a very pointed clarity session, just a way for us to like help you, and also a way for me to help get clarity for myself as well on how I can best serve you. And really, because you know what, there's so many beautiful women in this group who are not shockingly, in a very similar place. And so I want to make sure that I am bringing you guys exactly what you need. So anyway, so it is not an enrollment conversation. It is a clarity session, 15 minutes on the spot. And if you want to talk to me about what we have and how you can go further, I'm absolutely open to that, and we can schedule another time. But for this, it's just #clarity. So I hope tonight was helpful. I hope it gave you something to chew on, something to think about, something to, get your arms around when you're looking at like, well, how am I in my own way? So just how am I in my own way? Let me be honest with myself. Not because you're doing it wrong. It's just because I want you to be awake, and awake is good. So have a wonderful rest of your night, everyone. I have as always, enjoyed this time with you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.